What if I told you that one simple skill, a skill you can learn right now, is more responsible for success at the highest levels of American business, politics, and innovation than almost any other? It's not your degree from an Ivy League school, it's not your coding ability, and it's not your family connections. It's your ability to genuinely and effectively connect with other human beings. We live in the most connected time in human history. We have thousands of friends on social media. We can fire off an email to someone on the other side of the planet in seconds, and our calendars are filled with back-to-back Zoom meetings. Yet, despite this constant stream of communication, so many of us feel fundamentally unheard, misunderstood, and disconnected. We talk past each other in performance reviews. We have bitter arguments with family members over text messages, and we scroll through endless feeds of happy photos, feeling a profound sense of isolation. Nearly a century ago, a man named Dale Carnegie cracked the code on this exact problem. He wrote a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, that wasn't about cheap tricks or slimy manipulation. It was, and still is, the definitive blueprint for building genuine relationships, fostering incredible goodwill, and achieving your goals through authentic influence. Its principles are not just quaint old-fashioned advice. They are a powerful antidote to the transactional, impersonal nature of modern life, and they are more desperately needed today than ever before. If you find value in summaries like this, make sure to like, subscribe to AudioBook Bites, and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Now, let's dive in. The first principle, and perhaps the most difficult to master in our culture of hot takes and instant judgment, is to stop criticizing. Carnegie states it bluntly: criticism is futile, utterly useless. Why? Because it puts people on the defensive and usually makes them strive to justify themselves. Criticism is dangerous because it wounds a person's precious pride, hurts their sense of importance, and arouses a deep and lasting resentment. Even the great Abraham Lincoln learned this the hard way. In his younger days, he was known for openly criticizing his political opponents, even writing letters to the newspaper mocking them. In one instance, his public ridicule nearly led him into a duel. That event taught him an invaluable lesson. From that day on, he rarely, if ever, criticized anyone for anything. Think about the modern American workplace. Imagine a manager who finds a mistake in a junior analyst's report. The manager, under pressure from their own boss, forwards the email to the analyst with a sharp, critical comment like, "Please fix this. We need to have better attention to detail." The manager feels they've done their job, but what actually happens on the other end? The analyst's stomach sinks. Their brain is flooded with cortisol. Their focus shifts from solving the problem to defending their mistake and worrying about their job security. Does this approach cultivate a superstar employee? Number. It cultivates an employee who will play it safe, who will be terrified of making mistakes, and who will ultimately stop taking the creative risks that lead to growth. True leaders, the ones building the game-changing companies in Silicon Valley or Austin, understand that you cannot build a culture of innovation on a foundation of fear. Criticism kills psychological safety, the very thing that allows teams to thrive. It breeds an atmosphere of quiet rebellion and high employee turnover. The next time you feel the urge to criticize, pause and ask yourself a powerful question. What is my ultimate goal? Is it to vent my frustration and prove I'm right? Or is it to help this person grow and improve? If your goal is growth, then criticism is the wrong tool for the job, every single time. This leads directly to the second, and far more constructive principle: unlocking the secret weapon of the world's most effective people, which is sincere appreciation. Carnegie wrote that there is one universal, driving hunger in every human being, a craving as deep and persistent as the need for food or sleep. It is the desire to be important, the desire to be valued, the desire to be appreciated. This is not about showering people with cheap compliments or empty flattery. Anyone with a bit of life experience can see right through that. Flattery is counterfeit, and as Carnegie says, like counterfeit money, it will eventually get you into trouble. The difference between appreciation and flattery is simple. One is sincere and comes from the heart. The other is insincere and comes from the teeth. One is unselfish, focused on the other person. The other is selfish, focused on what you can get. This isn't about the generic Employee of the Month plaque or the automated great job from a project management software. This is about specific, genuine praise that shows you are actually paying attention. Steel magnate Charles Schwab, one of the first American businessmen to earn $1 million salary, said, "I consider my ability to arouse enthusiasm among my people the greatest asset I possess. And the way to develop the best that is in a person is by appreciation and encouragement." He would walk through his steel mills, and if he saw a specific team working efficiently or a particular job well done, he would stop and praise them for their specific effort. That kind of targeted recognition has an electrifying effect. In your own life, you have countless opportunities to use this power. Instead of a quick, "Thanks for dinner," try saying to your partner, "I know you had a long day, and the fact that you still took the time to make this amazing meal for us means the world to me." Instead of telling a colleague, "Good presentation," try, "The way you answered that difficult question from the VP was incredible. You were so poised, and your answer was brilliant. I learned a lot from watching you." Watch what happens. You are not just giving a compliment. You are giving someone the gift of feeling seen, validated, and truly valued. It costs you nothing, but it can fundamentally change the emotional climate of your home and workplace. The third principle is the fundamental secret to building relationships instantly. What you could call the 2-month friendship formula. Get genuinely interested in other people. Carnegie puts it this way: you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. This is a radical idea in the age of the personal brand. We spend countless hours curating our Instagram feeds, polishing our LinkedIn profiles, and rehearsing our elevator pitches, all in an effort to appear more interesting to others. Carnegie's advice is to flip that entire dynamic on its head. The real path to being interesting is to be interested. Picture a typical American networking event. It's a room buzzing with anxiety and ambition. The internal monologue of 99% of the people there is, "What can this person do for me? How can I impress them? How can I get my business card in their hand?" They aren't truly listening. They're just waiting for a pause in the conversation so they can jump in and talk about themselves. Now, imagine someone different enters that room. Their internal monologue is, "I wonder what this person's story is. What are they passionate about? What's the biggest challenge they're facing right now?" This person asks questions, not the superficial, "What do you do?" but the deeper, more engaging questions. They listen intently to the answers. They make eye contact. They don't look over your shoulder for someone more important. They make you feel, for a few moments, like you are the most fascinating person in the world. Who are you going to remember at the end of the night? The person who pitched you, or the person who listened to you? Theodore Roosevelt was a master of this. Before a guest would visit the White House, Roosevelt would stay up late reading about whatever subject he knew the guest was most interested in. He did this because he knew that the royal road to a person's heart is to talk about the things they treasure most. In a world where everyone is broadcasting, The person who tunes in and truly listens possesses a rare and magnetic power. This brings us to our fourth lesson, which is so simple you might dismiss it, but it's one of the most profound secrets to human connection: using the sweetest sound in any language. Dale Carnegie asserts that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound. From a neurological perspective, hearing your own name activates unique regions of your brain. It's a jolt of self-recognition that cuts through all the other noise. Your name is the label of your identity, the anchor of your existence in the world. When someone remembers and uses your name, it sends a powerful, subconscious message. You matter. You are an individual. You are worth remembering. We see a commercialized version of this when a Starbucks barista writes your name on a cup. But imagine that principle scaled up to more meaningful interactions. Think of a manager who, in a team meeting, says, "That's a great point, Sarah," instead of just pointing or saying "you." That small act of individual recognition makes Sarah feel valued and more likely to contribute again. Now, imagine a CEO who walks the factory floor and remembers not just an employee's name, but asks about the son they mentioned was graduating from college. The impact of that is immeasurable. It shatters the corporate hierarchy for a moment and creates a real human connection. It's the difference between an employee who is compliant and an employee who is committed. You can put this to the test today. Learn the name of the cashier at your local grocery store, the security guard in your office building, the mail carrier. Use their name with a warm smile. Watch their face light up. In our increasingly automated and anonymous world, the simple act of using someone's name is a powerful declaration that we still see the human being in front of us. Now we move into the delicate art of influence with the fifth and critically important principle. The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Carnegie was emphatic about this. He quoted an old saying, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." You cannot win an argument. If you lose, you lose. But even if you win, you still lose. Let's say you dismantle someone's position in a debate. You have all the facts, your logic is flawless, and you prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they are wrong. You feel a surge of intellectual superiority. But what about them? You have savaged their pride. You've made them feel foolish. You've forced them into a corner, and out of sheer self-respect, they will resent your victory. You may have won the point, but you've lost the goodwill. We've all seen this play out at the Thanksgiving dinner table, where a political disagreement escalates into a bitter, relationship-damaging fight. No one's mind is ever changed. The only result is a tense and miserable evening. So what do you do when you disagree? Carnegie offers a practical playbook. First, control your temper. Second, listen. Give your opponents a chance to talk, and let them finish. Don't resist, defend, or debate. Just listen. Third, look for areas of agreement. Start by emphasizing the points on which you both agree. Fourth, be honest. Look for areas where you might be wrong and admit it. This disarms your opponent. Finally, promise to think over your opponent's ideas and to study them carefully. And mean it. This approach takes immense self-control, but it transforms a potential battle of egos into a collaborative search for understanding. It preserves the relationship, which is almost always more important than winning a single point. This leads us to the sixth principle, a masterclass in effective leadership that we can call the inception rule. Plant the idea and let them grow it. Carnegie explains that people are inherently more enthusiastic about an idea they believe is their own. We don't like to be told what to do. We prefer to feel that we are acting on our own conclusions. This is a crucial distinction between the old 20th century industrial model of management and the modern innovation model. The old model, perfected by figures like Henry Ford, saw workers as cogs in a machine. The thinking was done at the top, and the orders flowed down. But in today's economy, which runs on creativity and problem-solving, that command and control style is a death sentence for innovation. A brilliant leader in today's world doesn't provide all the answers. They ask the right questions. They don't walk into a room and say, "Here is my plan. Go execute it." Instead, they say, "We are facing a massive challenge with customer retention. This is what the data says. What are your ideas on how we can tackle this?" By framing the problem and inviting solutions, they transfer ownership. The team is no longer just executing a task. They are engaged in a creative mission. They will work harder, think more creatively, and be more resilient in the face of setbacks because they are fighting for their own idea. You can use this everywhere. A Hollywood director might ask a talented actor, "What's your feeling about how this character would react in this scene?" rather than dictating every gesture. A parent might ask a child, "We need to get your homework done before your bedtime. What do you think is the best way to plan our evening?" By asking instead of ordering, you don't give up your authority. You transform it into influence. Finally, we arrive at the seventh principle, which contains what might be the three most powerful and trust-building words in a leader's vocabulary. I was wrong. In our highly competitive culture, there is immense pressure to project an image of infallibility. Admitting a mistake can feel like career suicide. Carnegie argues the exact opposite. He teaches that having the courage to admit your errors quickly, openly, and emphatically is a sign of supreme confidence and character. When something goes wrong, the human instinct is to deflect blame. The weak leader points fingers at their team, at market conditions, at the competition. The strong leader steps forward and takes the hit. Think about the high-stakes world of corporate PR. The companies that survive a major crisis are almost always the ones that immediately own their mistakes. The classic example is the Tylenol crisis in the 1980s, when Johnson & Johnson immediately took responsibility and recalled all their products, an act that saved the brand. Admitting fault has a magically disarming effect. It makes other people less defensive and more forgiving. It instantly stops the argument and shifts the focus from blame to solutions. When a leader says, "This was my decision, the outcome was not what I expected, and I take full responsibility," they send a powerful message to their team. It is safe to take risks here. It is safe to try and fail. This creates the psychological safety that is the absolute bedrock of any high-performing, innovative team. So, the next time you make a mistake, resist the powerful, ego-driven urge to hide it or pass the buck. Step up, own it, and watch as it transforms you from someone who is merely in charge into someone people will trust and follow anywhere. So, when you put it all together, you see that Dale Carnegie's masterpiece is not a collection of clever social hacks. It is a profound guide to emotional intelligence and human decency. It's about dropping the useless and destructive habit of criticism, and instead actively looking for the good in others and offering real, sincere appreciation. It's about the profound realization that being interested is far more powerful than trying to seem interesting. It's about remembering the one word that is music to every person's ears, their own name. It's about having the wisdom to know that you can never truly win an argument, and the grace to seek understanding over victory. It's about empowering others by co-creating ideas, and it's about having the incredible character to say, plainly and simply, "I was wrong." Don't just be impressed by these ideas. Information alone doesn't change a life. Practice does. So, I have a challenge for you. Choose one. Just one of these 7 principles. And for the next 7 days, make it your personal mission. For 1 week, refuse to utter a single word of criticism about anyone. Or decide that in every single conversation you have, you will make a conscious effort to use the other person's name. Start small. The principles in this book aren't just for winning friends or influencing people in a boardroom. They are for building a better, richer, more connected life, one conversation at a time. Now, go out and build it.